I got you covered. Get there when you get there. Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday morning, and I tell you what, this is we're going to talk about some stuff this morning that, frankly, I hate to talk about, but we have to talk about it precisely because it doesn't get talked about, right? I actually considered covering this yesterday morning because of the whole media blackout thing, and I knew we were going to have to get to it. But part of what we're going to talk about is the value of talking about it. So, Mario, I got you with me this morning. How you doing, sunshine?
Indeed, I'm well. I'm as well as can be.
So, let's just go ahead and start with the
Well,
video of the event in question. Well,
let's
did you have
let's
some
let's
setup first?
let's no let's do maybe 60 to 90 seconds, okay, about the elephant in the room. No, we're not talking about the Blackstone, New York City shooting today, okay? A lot of unanswered questions there, but all I'm going to say about it is it looks like it's like a Luigi Mangione, okay, incident,
Yeah,
and you know, a sign of the times. If someone goes into a major hedge fund, okay, major private equity firm, starts greasing people out of perceived, you know, out of out of social and economic grievances, just consider it a sign of the times, okay? And expect
and
more to come.
and that might be the show tomorrow.
Hmm.
Tomorrow or Thursday, depending on how much more information we get out. And part of
Yep.
that conversation is going to be about, you know, you see things like the Mangione incident, the Blackstone incident that just happened,
Hmm.
and part of the sign of the times is we used to believe that we had government in place to prevent corrupt entities from doing corrupt shit.
Right.
Now, you might have been a total conspiracy theorist, a total anti-capitalist, a total uh, anti-corporatist, whatever. But until recently, you believed that passing the next Glass Steagall might be the thing that reined these assholes in, and people are losing faith in the existence of that system. But here's the elephant in the room for this morning. This is from Cincinnati over the weekend. Just straight body slam. Did you see the body slam,
Yep.
Mario?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. This is comedy to them. Okay, it's comedy. And no, you keep playing it. They beat a woman too. They knock her unconscious, bloody her.
There's okay. Y'all see that? Y'all saw the woman in the
No, no,
blue
no, no.
dress right
No,
there.
you didn't see it yet. Now he gets up and then he falls back down because he's obviously like he's got head trauma. Right, he's trying to get back to his feet. And then a woman who tried to help him gets bloodied and knocked unconscious. Head bouncing on the concrete. Yep. Just keep chirping. Keep chirping, you fucking brain dead moron.
Yeah. So this couple survived, but barely.
That was an attempted lynching, is what that was. That was an attempted lynching. This took place outside of a jazz. Okay, it was a jazz festival in Cincinnati. Okay, after the jazz festival closed, people left. Right, people walking to their cars, walking to the parking lot. All right. Apparently, someone claimed that white man that you saw getting an attempted lynching said something racial to someone, which in the eyes, or in the limited minds of Black Twitter, means that he deserved to be lynched. Okay, because if you say the magical N word, then that means you have to die. All right. Um, think about that for a moment. If I can say a magical word, and you, the Black community, lose all pretense of maintaining any sort of countenance or temperaments, and then you lash out uncontrollably with violence. How much power does that give me over you? How powerless are you? Are you an animal that simply responds to negative stimulus? Is that all you are? How could you possibly justify such behavior? I, I get fucking pissed. Save me here. This isn't Saturday, okay?
No paywall.
No paywall.
Well, let's see. How does USAA report on this? Let's see. Oh, come on, USAA. Don't play with me. Get it.
You know, Scott Adams, I think, made the most prophetic statement. Okay, we'll get there. In a minute.
So here's you.
Here's the police chief of Cincinnati. What? The moment you see, like, how is this your police chief?
Yep. Already a problem.
An old lady is in charge of security in your city. An old lady is in charge of keeping the people of Cincinnati safe. And you wonder.
Police charged 5 suspects from viral Cincinnati fight video. We know.
Only because the video went viral, and basically Harmeet Dillon, where does she worked for the attorney DOJ or something? Yeah, the Civil Rights Division. She's in charge of the Civil Rights Division at the DOJ. She brought up that hate crime charges, federal hate crime charges, should be filed in this case. All right. So
absolutely,
it was only because the federal government made a fuss over it, okay, because of online activism sharing this video, that anything was done about it at all.
And so earlier I said part of what we're going to talk about is why we have to talk about stuff like this. And that was it right there. So basically the media was silent on this, but the video went viral. Social media started talking about it, and that was enough to get some attention and let the authorities, let our government know, right? And this is a piece of the First Amendment, right? Right. Yeah, you have the right to speak, right? The freedom of speech shall not be abridged, right? The Congress shall make no action, shall make no law that abridges the freedom of speech, right? And then you get the freedom of the press. Okay, cool. And that covers your freedom to film stuff like this and share that on social media, right? That the freedom of the press, don't let them get it twisted, right? Your freedom of the press isn't limited by having journalist credentials. No, you, the people, are the press. You can, and now that you have a camera in your pocket all the time, social media is your network. It is your platform. But here's the thing that we need to remember that social media is also valuable for. It is, in effect, a functional mechanism to petition the government for redress of grievances. So on what you were talking about with Harmeet Dillon, I'll say, hey, good on them, because that's exactly what needs to happen. Major crime is filmed, and this is major crime, right? If there is such a thing as a hate crime, then that's what happened here, right? And that's a whole other conversation. The addition of the word hate to crime is spurious to begin with, but if there is such a thing as a hate crime, then this qualifies absolutely. If this does not qualify as a hate crime, then, as we've seen through precedents and prosecutions, the addendum hate crime just means it's a white perpetrator and therefore we should hurt them badlier, right? And it doesn't tend to get applied the other direction. But take a look at the reporting here. Police have identified suspects from a violent fight with a crowd of 100 or so people. What kind of people? What kind of people? Because we've seen it. We know, guaranteed, 100%. If we were looking at a crowd of white people lynching a black man, for example, the headline would be white mob or something of the sort. Right.
Even if it was like a black pedophile who had been caught balls deep in a minor, okay, and then savagely beaten in the streets, it would still be a civil rights outrage blaring nationwide.
And just to really drive it home, we've talked about the bias in AI. Y'all, this is ChatGPT answering the question. Observed pattern in crime reporting. When the suspect is white, race is often named immediately in headlines and repeated in the body of the article. Example, white male suspects opened fire, or white supremacists charged in. Right, the suspect's motives are frequently explored through racial or ideological lenses, for example, hate crime, extremism, white privilege. When the suspect is black, Hispanic, or non white, race is often omitted, especially in the early stages of reporting, even when physical descriptions are otherwise included. If mentioned, it's usually buried deep in the article or left out altogether under the rationale of not being relevant. Motive is frequently left ambiguous or attributed to social conditions rather than ideology or racial animus.
It was socioeconomic factors. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Grok has figured out Coulter's law, basically. Okay.
This is not Grok. This is ChatGPT.
ChatGPT figured it. Yeah.
Grok would have gotten this wrong.
Yeah.
Grok would have gotten this wrong. Grok is pretty weak sauce right now. And it says why this happens according to journalistic norms. Excuse me.
Bless you.
According to journalistic norms. Oh, I apologize. I just realized that I've got my headphones, my microphone wrong. That should be a dramatic improvement in quality there, because now I'm on
better.
Sorry about that. AP style guidelines and newsroom ethics suggest avoiding race unless it is clearly relevant to the story. For example, police are actively seeking a suspect and need the public's help, right? They do this for the stated reasons that journalists and editors often say they fear inflaming racial tensions and reinforcing stereotypes, especially surrounding black communities. Except here's what they've done, right? Back in 2020, was it, when the whole story with Ahmaud Arbery happened? Ahmaud Arbery was a repeat criminal with a long rap sheet who had an established, well-known modus operandi of
robbing construction sites,
posing as a jogger, posing as, he'd wear, like athletic gear, and he'd pretend to be jogging, and that's how he would case sites, right? He got in a fight with two guys who had a law enforcement background, who had complained to the police about this repeat offender robbing houses, and they attempted to perform what was at the time a lawful citizen's arrest. And I say at the time because this problem is so pernicious that Kemp and a bunch of crooked shitbirds in the Georgia legislature have actually changed the law on citizen's arrest in this state explicitly to protect black criminals from facing the arms of justice. And what happened in that case, Arbery attacked the two white men, tried to wrestle a gun away from one of them, got himself shot in the process. Now, the likelihood there, and we can't ever know for sure because people can lie. Sure, the McMichaels might lie. Who can't lie is Arbery.
Right.
The only thing we can get out of him is the absolute truth of the results of his actions.
Well, he
got himself shot, and the police investigated, and they said no arrest. This was a clear-cut case of a lawful citizen's arrest, wherein the dangerous, known, repeat, violent criminal attacked two law-abiding citizens who were trying to do their lawful duty, and he got himself killed by making a stupid choice and assaulting people. Right? And after that happened, I promise, Mario, I'm getting to it. Just stick with me. So after the incident, the prosecutors who refused to press charges were forced to recuse themselves. BLM activists rioted and threatened them and terrorized the prosecutor into recusing himself. They did that to 3 or 4 more prosecutors until they finally found a black female prosecutor on the other side of the state, got nothing to do, got no business at all working in the region. From the other side of the state, member of the a sorority sister of the I forget the name of the sorority, but it's a notoriously black female sorority.
AKA.
Yes, that's the one. And she comes in and says, "Yeah, I'll hang a white boy. That's what I'm here for."
Yeah.
Right. So, and at that time, I pointed out, I said, and I didn't realize at the time how right I was. I thought I was being intentionally hyperbolic and inflammatory when I said the objective of these organizations, like Black Lives Matter, AKA, and let's be real, the Democrat National Committee, is to immunize all non-white people against law, is to establish a state where law enforcement is terrified to intervene and do their job unless what they're doing is writing speeding tickets to white people.
Right. Well, it's and you know, Ahmaud Arbery, he charged a man with a shotgun with his bare hands and attempted to disarm a man with a shotgun with his bare hands, which is sorry.
Yeah, you know what you do.
Basic IQ test here. Okay. Sorry.
You know what you do with somebody, Mario, who does that and survives it? You put him on suicide watch.
Yeah.
Because he's a threat to himself and others.
Just be careful, though, Lowry. I know TPS is in the chat here, and you know that he's got like a Mexican prayer candle with Ahmaud Arbery on it, okay? By his bedside, okay? We haven't forgot, TPS. We haven't forgot. Also, keep Crowder's name out your damn mouth, okay? Steven Crowder did nothing wrong. I'm sticking to it, okay?
Actually, I saw that comment, and I did want to address it real quick. Crowder has gone back and hopped on and done streams on YouTube several times recently, and I forget the guy's name, Chris something, over the CEO of Rumble, has asked him on occasion, hey, cover this one on YouTube too, so that we can grab some more traffic from them. So yeah, basically every time you see Crowder pop up on YouTube, he's trying to grab that back. TPS says only because you
no.
That's wrong.
No, don't let him direct your show. No. Okay, we sullied him. He doesn't have a voice, and he's powerless. And now you have to eat it, okay? Okay, so moving on here, right? Now, you notice like this, when you see like the mob of black people, okay, what should terrify you is that when they're attempting to lynch this man and then savagely assaulting that woman, your mind is you're thinking like, oh, they must be really, really angry. Okay, they're not. That's the scary part. This is entertaining for them. Okay, it's like the concept, Chris, you mentioned several times on the show about recreational felonies. Okay, that's exactly what this is. This is fun. This is fun for them. Lynching that man is fun. They're laughing. They're enjoying it. Okay, and the guy who's filming it is doing that, like the baboon war cry, like ooh, 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 constantly, basically to gin up the crowd and get them to go through with this violent action. Okay, what you are seeing and is basically this. Look, all right, I'll reveal something about myself. I hate all primates that are not human. Okay, they terrify me. It sets off like the uncanny valley in my mind. When I go to the zoo and I see the baboon exhibit, I want to kill the baboons, okay? I want to wear like a shark skin scuba suit and have a katana, and I want to walk in the exhibit and I want to slay the baboons, okay, to the man. And I want to watch the last baboon, the oldest male baboon, in his lamentations, okay, reaching out his hands to me for mercy, like the frickin' like the Witch King from from Lion King, like Simba. Okay, yes, and I want to give him no quarter. All right. Now, this is something that's psychologically wrong with me that I admit, but what I saw in that crowd is the same thing you see in the baboon exhibit, where they single out one individual and effectively shun him and basically use violence and smack him and basically cast him out of the circle, where basically he doesn't get groomed anymore because he's an outcast. Okay, that's the exact same like energy and mentality that I see in that Cincinnati video is what I see in the baboon exhibit at the zoo. All right.
So we've got the Life Zet article here, and they're doing it. They're doing the correct thing. They're making the identifications in the headline. White couple beaten by black mob in Cincinnati street attack. Media stays quiet, and they were. The media was completely blacked out on this all weekend until basically X said, "Yo, are y'all seeing this nonsense?" Right? Police are actively investigating a disturbing incident that occurred in downtown Cincinnati on Friday night after a video surfaced showing what appears to be a brutal beating involving multiple individuals. The altercation took place between Elm and 4th Streets and quickly went viral after videos of the incident were posted to social media platforms. According to Fox News 19 Cincinnati, the footage shows a man in a white t-shirt being shoved to the ground by two men before being repeatedly attacked by a group. As the video continues, others, including women, join in the assault. The man's head appears to be stomped multiple times during the beating, which lasted for nearly 50 seconds. Afterward, he is helped to his feet, but collapses again. A bystander can be heard in the video saying, "My man's drunk," as several people assist him. He's not, I mean, he may have been drinking, but have you never been hit in the head?
Yeah, you get dazed. Okay.
Yeah.
And I wanted to comment on one little thing where they mentioned that the black women are also joining in the lynching. Okay. Just uncomfortable statistic for the audience. A black woman is more likely to commit murder in the United States than a white man. Think about that. Think about that.
Yeah, we know the statistics, man. White men just do not, by and large, commit murder, generally, statistically.
And when they do,
compared
it's
to the alternative. We know that to be true because I haven't done it.
Yeah. When a white man goes on a rampage, commits murder, it's generally something spectacular. Okay, and not in a good sense. Okay, I mean that as in it's a spectacle.
Right. It's Las Vegas.
Yes. Precisely. Yeah. The walls of New Vegas cannot protect you from Caesar's legions. All right. it's getting uncomfortable. All right. Back to the article.
You know, we might need to revisit that idea that I floated not too long ago about streaming the pair of us playing Fallout. I think it'd have to be Fallout 76 for us both to be on there, but yeah.
Isn't that the most broken one? Did they fix it? I heard it was unplayable.
I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway,
I heard that all the monsters in it are based on West Virginia cryptids because they have the largest variety of cryptids.
So we got the Wendigo. It's got Wendigos.
Oh yeah, Wendigos, swamp apes. Oh yeah.
Damn. Pit Danny says, "Don't you diss me and everything." We're not dissing you, Pit Danny.
No. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, is he from West Virginia? Okay, got it.
No. He's talking about the tendency. So, back to the idea of bias in media coverage on this kind of stuff.
Noted, Sergeant Major.
I mean, I'm getting a little thin up here. I might actually just go ahead and shave it, old man. But
you know what?
I'm holding on to the beard.
Sergeant Major, if I get a haircut, I'm going to go out. It's going to be the most obnoxious one possible. I'm going to get the freaking Sergeant Major wedge, okay? Where I'm going to literally go in there to Supercuts and put my hand here and be like, no, just cut around my hand. That's going to look terrible. Do it. I'm paying you. Okay? Is that what you want? You want a Sergeant Major wedge?
I might go back to my skin high fade horseshoe. where I've got hair basically here.
Yep.
It's like a 1/4-inch thick strip of hair that runs around the front of my dome.
Yeah, just the color sample, like the paint.
Exactly. Yeah, the straight wedge. Okay.
So someone mentioned earlier about the about Carnival Cruise. Watch the video. Carnival Cruise. 40 people arrested in Galveston. Right. All of the Scott Adams' favorite group. So, but this is speaking of Scott Adams. Okay. People need to understand when he made that statement, when that short video, okay, on his stream, when he talked about how there's no fixing this, you have to get away from them, just get the hell away. This is what he's talking about.
Yeah,
yeah.
So if nearly half of all blacks are not okay with white people, according to this poll, not according to me.
Okay, real quick, this is from 2023.
Yeah.
And so for context, I want to say this before we let him speak anymore. For context, Scott Adams is brilliant. He accurately predicted Trump's first win, despite his not being a Trump guy at the time. He has become much more a Trump guy. You see the book on the shelf behind him entitled "Win Bigly." He's become more of a Trump guy, having seen the effectiveness of the Trump administration, especially despite all of the hurdles and barriers put in his way by illegal Democrat operations that we've discussed in the past. And before that, this is the guy that wrote Dilbert, right? Scott Adams is a brilliant observer of people, and by being that, he is also an excellent predictive generalist. Sharp dude. And he made this statement 2 years ago based on what we were seeing around the fallout from the 2020 riots and some polling on seeing the popularity of BLM just drop staggeringly. And he had this to say.
According to this poll, that's a hate group. That's a hate group. And I don't want to have anything to do with them. And I would say, based on the current way things are going, the best advice I would give to white people is to get the hell away from black people. Just get the fuck away. Wherever you have to go, just get away.
Yep.
Because there's no fixing this. This can't be fixed.
Correct.
Right? This can't be fixed.
And see, I hate having to do a show like this. I hate having to discuss this in these terms. Go ahead and bring your camera back up when you're ready, Mario. Because I have had and have black friends. I served with black men who were rock solid. But this, the gang beatings, the riots on Carnival cruises, all that stuff, that's not something that you don't see mobs of white people. Or mobs of Mexicans or Chinese, or you don't see mobs of anybody other than black people in primarily black communities.
You see Mexicans do it, but they generally don't do it in front of a camera. Okay, they've got that much common sense. When Mexicans do a lynching, it's off grid, off the script.
Well, and when Mexicans do it, it's generally part of the whole cartel thing.
Yeah, it's
right.
Involves fully automatic weapons, and it's over real quick.
Right, and that's a very important distinction, because that is an organization, not the ethnic group that does. Just the organization there happens to be primarily ethnically Mexican, right, or ethnically socially Colombian or whatever. You're talking about an organization that shares the ethnic trait. But with stuff like the Carnival cruises, this thing in Cincinnati, there's not an organization there. It's not like it was the Bloods or the Crips or something, right? No, it was just all of the people that happen to be there and are black.
It is.
You know what?
General social phenomenon.
Recreational felonies are for us.
General hive mind behavior, okay, is what's going on. All right. Now it's so.
And TPS report has said something correct. It's all driven by Democrats. They need racial violence to use as a tool. Absolutely.
They don't. Yes, they encourage. It's like the way the Democrats work with black people would be, for example, let's say you're in the you're at the checkout line in the supermarket, right? And the kid is screaming because he wants a candy bar and he's having a hissy fit. All right. The Democrats' response to that would be to not only give him the candy, but to praise him for making a scene. All right. Now look, what it really comes down to, and yes, okay, of course, as RB for 12 years. All right. So yeah, I served with some like rock solid black guys. One in particular who was from Baltimore, and I'm like, how did you come out of Baltimore? How is this even possible? He's like, well, what do you think what do you think I ran away? I'm like, yeah, good point. But the problem is with black people, okay, unlike every group, every racial group, all right, has a certain like subclass within them, all right, that is simply not fit for civilization, okay? That is an anti-civilizational force, right? Within white people, that's probably somewhere between 10 to 20%, all right? Within Asians, definitely also like around 10% or so. Within Hispanics, probably like 10 to 30%, all right? The problem with black people is, if you look at it kind of on a bell curve and adjusted score, all right, versus other groups, upwards of 40 plus percent of them are simply not fit for civilization. And what they do at that critical mass, you get what's called the crab in the bucket phenomenon. Okay, where the ones
you think you're getting out?
Yeah, where the ones who could escape that kind of the pathology that is black culture, the ones that could escape get dragged down into it, or get hemmed up early on in life with a like a teenage pregnancy or a teenage recreational felony or something. So basically, they're failed to start. Okay, and now
or the first time they bring home an A on or they bring home an A or a few A's on a report card, and they get told you acted white.
Acting white. Yeah. So,
you know, and
so with Scott Adams mentioning that about how you've got to get away.
Adjust your microphone. Hey, fix your mic.
With Scott Adams talking about there's no fixing this. You have to get away. Speaking of that, there are a group of people who are trying to get away from it.
Before we get to that, let me see if I can find this again real quick. We've talked about this before, but this really, there it is. Come on, give me the frickin' graphic.
Look, I apologize for a moment. I did not fix my hair prior to this stream, and it's making my headset swim all over my scalp. All right, I will give me 15 seconds. I'll be right back.
Okay, while Mario works on that, let me see if I can. There we go. Okay, I've got the graphic. We've covered this before. Of course, shithead didn't turn his freaking camera off before he walked away. I'll drop mine. Okay, this is from the who was deeply insulting African American museum accused of racism over whiteness chart. This was published. It says National Museum of African American History and Culture. I want to say that's a part of the Smithsonian, but I'm not certain of that. But basically, they go on to say, what is white culture? What is white culture? Right? And white culture is rugged individualism. The individual is the primary unit, self-reliance, independence, and autonomy, highly valued plus rewarded. Individuals assumed to be in control of their environment. You get what you deserve, right? It's acting white to believe this. White, right? They refer to this as white dominant culture, or whiteness refers to the ways white people and their traditions, attitudes, and ways of life have been normalized over time and are now considered standard practices in the United States. And since white people still hold most of the institutional power in America, we have all internalized some aspects of white culture, including people of color, right? And this is being presented as if this is a problem, right? This is what the BLM movement is about. This is what black activism is about. The nuclear family, father, mother, 2.3 children, is the ideal social unit. Yes, it is. I mean,
This
my only criticism there is the ideal social unit should be having more children because we are below replacement.
right.
But emphasis on scientific method, objective, rational, linear thinking. That's white culture. That's whiteness. That's oppression. But what? Rational thought is ethnic oppression?
Yeah.
Right. So go ahead and bring your camera back up, Mario. There's a lot more here. We've covered this thing. We've gone over this thing before. We should probably cover it. It might even be worth
what that reads like
at some point.
What that reads like essentially is it's a recipe within the civilizational cookbook for Western civilization. Okay, that's what that is. All right. Yep, you were correct, Sergeant Major. It's okay. I went from drifter to greaser. Okay, this is a much more workable aesthetic for me.
So yeah, that whole thing, and I wanted to share that with you guys before we get into this next bit. And let me share the article. Where is it? White couple beaten. Okay, this one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of buttons to push to make this thing operate correctly. Here we go. Okay, Mario.
Life is hard. All right. Last week, Cincinnati, Ohio made the national news after video footage went viral of crowds exiting a black culture jazz music festival. Marauding groups of the fatigue subset, the usual suspects, attacked it. So it's
fatigue subset.
Right wing writing style. Okay, so you can tell this comes from a right wing bent. All right, or band attacked at least three unsuspecting.
Real quick, Mario. Real quick, the whole black fatigue thing. I've enjoyed a lot of entertainment out of black video creators making videos about black fatigue, and saying, "Y'all, this is why they don't want us around. This is why they're moving out of the cities. This is why the cities are falling apart."
Yeah,
and that's black video creators. That's black influencers.
The Hodge twins have made a cottage industry. The Hodge twins have made a cottage industry out of talking to white people about how we are sick of black people. Yes. All right. One victim was an older man who was stomped and punched repeatedly into the road by multiple assailants. Another victim was a woman who was beaten unconscious. Why did they do it? Because those people were convenient targets, it would seem, or perhaps simply because they were the most convenient white targets. It's hard to say, but one can make an educated guess according to the evidence and common sense. Most witnesses filmed the incident.
An older white man?
He was Gen X at most. Okay.
Yeah.
He was just bald. All right.
Yeah, he might have been 50.
Yeah,
but
50. Most witnesses filmed the incidents or laughed. Keep in mind that if this was a group of white attackers targeting lone black victims, the national news would be in an uproar, and there would be riots in the streets. As it stands, the mayor of Cincinnati and the media have only briefly acknowledged the violence because it was exposed on social media. The discussion will disappear down the rabbit hole in a week or less, as with all such crimes. Okay, and yeah, I mean, this is why I say, what's the point in pointing out what? Yes, Democrats are hypocrites. Yes, black people are hypocrites. Okay, what's the point? Everybody knows this. Just let it go. They don't care. That's the problem. They don't care. Telling a Democrat that what he's doing is argumentatively unsound because it does not follow like a reverse logic. Okay, or it doesn't matter to them. It's all emotion based. That's all that matters. All right. So you're pointing out something to them that they just don't care about. Okay, especially with black people, because in their mind it's just the world began in 1619 when the first sacred black man was brought to America and founded American culture somehow. Okay. You're dealing with people who've created a whole mythos. You're dealing with people who have created a religion which is founded on explaining their inadequacy. All right, that's a level of pathology that you simply cannot penetrate with facts and reason. Okay, you either penetrate it with emotion, or you penetrate it with a blunt instrument.
Okay, let me see. Alex just sent over something and said, I have a feeling you'd have kicked his ass too, so we're going to take a quick peek at it and see if he's right. I'll get the audio in there.
He's going to show you a video of a white person acting badly to act as a counterpoint to... Oh, no, he's not. Okay.
Sleeping.
Well, he's surrounded. What's he supposed to do?
Hey, these niggas is funny fighting the Russians.
So he attempted to defend himself.
Oh yeah, sleep him. Yup. Get him up out of here. Get him up out of here.
I'm not sure I understand. So
he's saying that the white man struck a black man, therefore he deserved to be mobbed, thrown to the ground, and stomped in the head and lynched. Okay, that's what he's saying.
Yeah, okay. So is that somehow supposed to justify the actions of these guys? Because
yeah, apparently it is.
Certainly does look to me like in that video, we don't have anything from the beginning of the video that shows, why is he surrounded by violent black men that keep dipping in and swinging at him?
Yeah.
Well,
if I was surrounded by violent black men, okay, I'm going to be assuming a defensive posture as well. All right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what we're supposed to get out of that. So let's get back to. I got to switch the screen share again. Boom. So the article goes on to talk about the black fatigue and everything, and then transitions over to talk about this other topic here. Apparently, some white Americans took this revelation to heart. Oh yeah. So we showed you the video from Scott Adams, just get away. And so the article goes on to say, apparently some white Americans took this revelation to heart. One group called Return to the Land has launched an initiative in Arkansas with the goal of building a town of people limited to traditional values and European descent. The project, operating on private club laws on a 150-acre expanse, has, of course, drawn the ire of numerous activist groups and the leftist media. And let me show you what we mean by that. I've got the article. Here we go. Groups call for, this is from whiterivernow.com. Our groups call for investigation of controversial off-grid community near Ravenden. This is in Arkansas. A planned residential development in northeast Arkansas has drawn criticism from civil rights groups and national organizations over concerns it may violate anti-discrimination housing laws. And I don't need to go much further into this because I could bring up this article from CNN from 2020. And let's look at the difference in how these things are covered. 19 families buy nearly 97 acres of land in Georgia to create a safe city for black people. Welcome to freedom, exclaims real estate agent Ashley Scott as she surveys the nearly 97 acres of land. I'm hoping that it will be a thriving safe haven for people of color, for black families in particular, Scott says. The land sits just east of Macon in rural Wilkinson County, Georgia. Scott and her friend, investor, and entrepreneur Renee Walsh. Okay, so some white guys want to live around nothing but white guys, and this is a violation. This is discrimination. We need to investigate. We need to get involved.
We need state and federal resources put into investigating them. Like this is what they think of you. All right. What that is that was a group, Return to the Land. It's a group founded by a guy who goes Orval. Okay. And it's in the Ozark Mountains. All right. It's an area, northern Arkansas and southern Missouri, which is like 85 to 90% white. Okay. It's one of the pockets of the country where diversity hasn't reached yet. All right. And a group of people purchased a lot of private land and set up a community with club membership rules. Okay, because according to the Fair Housing Act, you cannot prevent someone from buying property. All right, in an area. You can't prevent people from buying property based on like race, sex, whatever, all the 14th Amendment, all the restrictions that they place there. Okay. But if it is privately owned land, you can operate a club. All right, essentially, and you can restrict membership to your club based on immutable characteristics. Okay, so
right.
that's essentially
freedom
what
of association presupposed from that's actually a First Amendment protected right in legal theory, even though it's not one of the 5 enumerated rights in the First Amendment.
Right.
It's assumed that the freedom of assembly includes the freedom to assemble with the people you want to assemble with. Right. And that's where we get in legal theory the theory of free association.
Right. That's why you can have a black only like social club. Okay. That's why you can have like
people, the few Americans who can list the 5 freedoms that are enumerated in the First Amendment, even among them, a lot of them hear that phrase, you have the freedom to peacefully assemble. And that for some reason, for most people, and it's because this is the way that it's taught in schools, that means you have the freedom to gather in public places for the purpose of protesting, as long as you do it peacefully. No. That is the protection of your right to have your family at your home, to barbecue, to attend a church, to go to a concert.
Yeah.
Right. That's what the freedom of assembly is. It is any activity where a group of people gather for any reason without trespassing on private property or engaging in violence. That's what the freedom of assembly is. And assumed within the freedom of assembly is the freedom of association, which necessarily presupposes the freedom to exclude. Right? We're having a barbecue. And if you were invited, right, forget about your whatever civil rights immutable characteristic. The only qualifier is, did I call you and say, yo, bring some beers, we're getting blasted by the barbecue? I didn't. You didn't get a call from me. I didn't say, bring the kids, bring the wife. And you're not the wife and the kids? Then you're not on the list.
Yep.
You are thereby excluded from our civil liberty, constitutionally protected free assembly. That's the theory of freedom of association.
Yes, and without that, you could find yourself in these insane situations where you would have for people to come to your barbecue, okay, and for anyone in the neighborhood to walk in and not get free food, you would have to charge the guests, okay? You would literally have to charge your guests to legally deny feeding everybody. All right, it is like an anti-communism measure in a sense before they even knew what communism was. All right, because otherwise you could find yourself in an insane situation where you're having a barbecue, and some black people walk up and basically start filling up a plate, okay, that weren't invited, that aren't part of your social circle, aren't part of your family. And if you tell them to leave, they could essentially call the police and have you arrested for civil rights violations because you were feeding the white people for free, but they couldn't get no food for free. Okay. Madness. But
no, they can drag your own ass into small claims court and take your house.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Without that, they could drag your ass into court and take your house. Just based on, I couldn't get no chicken.
James Lowry asked, does that apply to Diddy parties? I think when you Diddy parties are understood homosexual communist terrorism, okay? Your ass is community property when you show up at a Diddy party. This is understood.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, you notice how Diddy went away because of Epstein?
Yeah.
Diddy did it, and Diddy got away with it.
Yeah.
There's more to that story than you were given. I promise you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't know what else, how much further I want to go down any of these rabbit holes or how much more there is to cover, but I will say this. So there was Epic City. That was the Muslim only city.
Yep.
And so I mentioned that one in this context because that is a non-white exclusionary community where there was some government interest and government involvement. And I know, just to steel man my own positions, somebody wanting to make the argument against my claim about biased or illegitimate coverage. Understand in the case of the Epic City, when the government got involved, it wasn't just that they were planning to be an explicitly Muslim community. They made it very clear that their intent was to operate their community within the United States and especially within the state of Texas under Sharia law, which of course cannot be tolerated.
No.
You cannot. If we do not have law, we do not have a country. If anybody can establish can just carve out a chunk, right? Essentially, what you're doing is you're saying, you know what? That whole Indian nations thing with the tribal land, I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I'm gonna buy up a bunch of land here and declare myself a sovereign nation. And but by the way, I still expect to get all the taxpayer-funded municipal benefits that are required to operate a community. And that's another piece of the what was it called? The Return to the Land project. As I understand it, that is an off-grid community. So if they're digging wells, putting up solar panels, running their whole thing like that,
they are,
and paying the suffering, psychotic expense of property taxes on the organization, then I don't see how, if they're not using municipal services, I don't see how there's any claim the government should possibly have on how they operate their community.
Can I plug a YouTube show?
Please do.
Here? Yeah. If you guys want to,
Devin Stack, but y'all should totally watch some Devin Stack.
That's not YouTube.
No, that's on. You got to go to Odyssey. Is he on Rumble?
Yeah, he's on Rumble now. Yeah.
Okay.
But Odyssey is he's the number one guy on Odyssey.
Of course he is.
Anyway, he's pretty much the only game in town there. Anyway, different story. But if you want to, they interview the guy, the Arvol guy. All right. Good interview with him on the YouTube show, the Backlash. Okay. It's got Rebecca Hargraves. All right. You remember from like Blonde and the Belly of the Beast. If any of you guys remember her from like 2015, 2016. Okay. It's probably, I mean, other than this show, of course, it's probably the best show on YouTube. All right. Right now. So definitely check that out. Interview with the guy. Now, I don't want to, like I said, I think we've dug deep enough in the rabbit hole here. One last thing I would just like to close on, all right, is when white people try to separate from communities of color, basically to create their own thing, all right, it's considered like, exclusionary and a civil rights outrage, all right? And if people of color, in particular black people, want to create their own separatist group, all right, basically nobody cares. Why is it that non-black people do not flock to try to live around black communities, okay? Why is it only that non-white people need to flock and attempt to live around white communities? Why is that, okay? And it's basically socialism through a racial tint, racial tint, all right? Because with where the white community is, there are resources to be extracted, all right, to be shared with the community, all right. Like they's taken our tax dollars, okay, by moving away. Like, they were never your dollars. You had no right to our money, and basically it's basically completely one-sided. Okay, wealth can be extracted from white communities, whereas moving into or adjacent to a black community, you're not going to extract much wealth for your own separate group. Okay, so just wanted to. I know that kind of falls into the no point in talking about the hypocrisy of it, but still, point stands.
You mentioned that non-blacks are not flocking to live near blacks.
Right.
There were a couple of interesting videos recently pointing out that wealthy black people do not choose to live around other black people. Don Lemon famously said that he doesn't live in black communities precisely because he and his white husband prefer to live where things are safe and clean. That's his take on it. That's his racist take on it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, and like I said at the beginning, I hate covering stories like this because there are certain things that are just it's hard to say them out loud because I have friends who would be hurt to hear me say those things, but like so many things that are uncomfortable to say in this world today, those things have been made uncomfortable for the saying precisely to protect the intentional degradation of your society through the weaponization of identity politic.
I mean, look, yeah, there are some serious problems, right, with the black community, if you want to call it that, all right? But like running away from it, sticking your head in the sand isn't going to make it any better, all right? Same for us, like for white people, is ignoring the fact that we have below replacement level, like we're below replacement level, all right, in our birth rate, is ignoring the severe pharmaceutical drug addiction, okay, that plagues our people. Okay, is ignoring it going to make it better? No. Okay, you need to face the problems you and your community have. All right, and shouting at other people to shut up, I don't want to hear it, it's not going to help you.
Correct.
Sorry.
Yep. Okay, well, hopefully we have a more pleasant conversation tomorrow. Oh, that's right, we're going to be talking about BlackRock.
Oh.
But y'all be safe out there, guys. We love you, and we will see you tomorrow.
Ciao. Do 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 do.